and welcome back to Britmas 2021. Back again with the advent calendar. You guys know the drill, so... And I'm getting quicker. I'm getting a lot quicker with finding the numbers. This advent calendar, guys, like seriously, I don't know, it's weird. I like it, but it's just... the way the doors open, I don't know. Whatever, it's still fun. So, let's see what we got today. Oh my dear Lord. I think it's a penguin? What the heck's on his head? So guys, this is part 2 of hospital, I don't know what I'm doing here, hospital ghost stories. If you have not seen part 1, definitely check it out. These are probably one of my favorite ghost stories. Why did I say it like that? Paranormal stories. These are real stories told by nurses and what they've experienced. There's just something so eerie about hospitals. I work in intensive care, a small community hospital. We have a 9-bed unit that is completely closed off from the medical floor via 2 doorways. 2 nights ago, we were all sitting at our station when we all heard footsteps coming down the hall. It's a completely open unit where you can see every room from everywhere. No one was in the unit with us. Then last night, cupboard doors kept opening and shutting in the 2 empty rooms. I finally asked my coworker what the fuck was going on, and she just told me that it usually happens after someone passes, especially if it was sudden. I worked in an ICU where a prisoner convicted of murder died, and nobody would put a patient in that room after that because the air was too heavy and the room was too spooky and dark. It was so bad that the hospital eventually closed down the room and knocked out a wall to make it a separate entrance into the unit because nurses would refuse to put patients in the room, even if it was the last available bed. The story of Rocking Mary. We closed room 12 in our MICU because just about every patient that has been there since Mary died complains of seeing a woman in white rocking back and forth by their bedside. Apparently, she never makes eye contact. She just stares outside the window, which happens to be on the patient's left side over their head. This window overlooks the hospital cemetery, where nuns that have died were buried. Mary was a nun that died in a car accident outside the hospital back in the 50s. She was only about 30 years old, and all patients describe her as a young woman. Room 12 became our storage room, where no one goes in by themselves unless it is absolutely critical. Like most very old hospitals, at one time our hospital was run by nuns. One particular unit had been converted into a sleep study lab area. One shift in the middle of the night, I was watching the video monitor and 5 patients began removing their monitoring equipment. I went into the first room to ask what was going on, and the patient said that the old nurse with the cap told her the study was over and that she could leave. All the patients reported the same story. I've been a night nurse for 4 years now at an old folks home. Had a patient who couldn't sleep because of incredibly vivid hallucinations. She would describe voodoo people around her room that would just stare at her, waiting for her to die. I didn't take it seriously until the lady across the hall, who rarely ever spoke, started seeing them in her room as well. I feel like this is probably a daily occurrence when it comes to hospitals because there's just so much death that happens there. So all of those stories are really creepy, but let me know which one creeped you out the most. Would you ever stay overnight in a hospital? Maybe not an abandoned hospital. I mean, maybe. That's what I want to stay in overnight. I can just picture a tricycle would go by, like ride by on its own or something, you know, or stuff like that would happen for sure. It's so creepy. One of the most common experiences though that nurses have, you know, seen with their own eyes is when a patient is passing away. So usually it's an elderly person. When they're passing, they start talking to a bunch of people. Like they see a bunch of people around them, or they will mention somebody's name, one of their loved ones' names, who have already passed on, and they're talking to them. To me, it's almost comforting knowing what you see as you are passing, since that happens so much. Like I hear about that all the time, and every story is so similar. So it's comforting knowing that your loved ones who have passed on are there. I mean, I don't know what you believe in, but I believe you definitely, you know, go to heaven. I believe in the afterlife, and I think, you know, they're all waiting for you to welcome you. So that's what's comforting about it. Obviously, it's super sad too, but I don't know. I could never work in a hospital. I couldn't. I could never be a doctor, and I could never be a nurse. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to handle it. I'm very queasy too when it comes to blood and everything. Like I'd probably faint just seeing blood. Like I'm bad with needles too. Like I just couldn't do it. I don't know. But then there's so much more to it, you know, like it's just props to nurses and doctors. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you rock my world, and the song lyrics Michael Jackson. Hashtag team Brady44. Hashtag Friends. Hey. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.